down that way. And O3 will be starting on their presentation now. So just to make sure you're in the right spot, Stuart is with COMIT, and he'll be speaking on behalf of that organization. JGC is an EPC company, and O3 is a technology company. Okay, enjoy.
Thanks, Lloyd. Okay, on time and to budget, hopefully. Can everybody hear me? Of course they can. I'm Stuart Young. I'm with COMIT. I've been involved in leading infrastructure design and build projects in the UK and overseas since the mid-80s. I was one of the founding members with a previous company that helped set up and run COMIT back in 2003. It was actually a government-funded project. And after it finished, the members elected to take it on. We've heard a lot about collaboration. COMIT is a collaboration platform. And we do a lot of projects. We get together, we talk, we make improvements for the future. It's a community of owners, contractors, solution providers, and academics that provide the sandpit to play in. We have a history of developing and running projects and running informational webinars with the focus on better outcomes. So, bit of audience participation. My question is, 2 numbers that might suggest a change in construction's needed. So there's the first one. Just leave you for a second or two. What does that represent? Has anybody got any clues? Construction people. If you get this, you should have a smile on your face. John? Maybe. Anybody else? Over there. Could be. Wow, we're getting closer. You read my slides. Can you believe that? When I was in mainstream construction, we got really excited. We made half of that. But now we're making 2. Fake news, no. It's actually fact. So, what's that one? Any thoughts? It's just targets. It's just a number. Can you believe that? Of course you can. It's the construction industry. Anything goes. Most of it's written off. Of course, it's not sustainable. One thing I will say as well, the current situation is, and I talk to a lot of contractors who are winning 1 in 1, or 1 in 2, or 1 in 3. When I was in construction, bid management, if we're doing 1 in 4, we're over the moon. But it's now at the point where they're winning such a high rate, at a high rate, they've now got another issue. How do they staff the projects? So the headhunters have been busy. Anyway, yeah, that's not fake news either. So what's the solution? There's a better way. Higher margins, long-term relationships. I'm sure we're all familiar with those. Driven by organisations where establishing a relationship is key for the future. And the other thing, of course, is trust. We need that, and for us to gain trust, we must operate and deliver 2-way value. I'm sure we've all experienced that. And what I'm going to talk to you today about in our session, we've got a little bit of I've got Steve here. Let me introduce Steve. Steve's from Waits. Steve's going to be our scribe, and we're going to capture a bit of information, hopefully. Because one of the things I want to do is take away and share what we need to do as individuals or organisations to convince the people that made it difficult for me in my early career to get any money for innovation. Now, I know there's a few people here I've spoken to already. I've got some great ideas, Duncan for one. And hopefully we can tease that out and take that away. Because it is a source of frustration for a lot of organisations or people within organisations trying to get money out for innovation, because there just ain't any, mostly. So, it now needs to be a key part of the vendors or contractor and EPC genuinely seeking better ways of doing things. Let's do technology to improve productivity. You'll come across that, McKinsey reports, reinventing construction. I'm going to mention a lot of the reports in a minute. If anybody's read any of these reports, this being the first one I'm showing, labour productivity growth in construction has averaged only 1% a year over the past 2 decades. Some suggested earlier it was more than that, but you know, compare that to a total growth in the world economy, and 3.6% in the case of manufacturing. Some more figures that are typical of our industry. For some reason, I've got this slide twice. Why is that? Okay, so talking heads. How did we get here? 30 plus construction reports since 1934. You notice the one on the right, that's the one I grew up with. Fantastic Constructing Excellence report, is that correct, Alison? Yes, indeed. I've still got that document in my filing cabinet, and it's properly paged with a thumb, a dirty one, because I was always looking at on site, looking at what we can do, and there was some. Well, it's a great document. John Egan. So all the research suggests and supports better outcomes in the industry. They've all a similar theme: productivity, safety, quality. It all ties back together, and it makes for this positive culture. And there's more reports. These are a few others I picked up, and there's a few references I make in some more of the following slides. So I'm going to tell you a bit of a story here. It's not rocket science; it's much harder. And how I arrived at that is that an ex-colleague of mine, who was an ex-NASA employee, decided to join the construction industry. And he said to me, after looking at a number of processes and talking to people on projects, yeah, construction, what a tough place to be. He said, at least when we were in the JPL, we were doing stuff and everything was aligned. He said, but in capital projects, he said, we've got this jumbled up mess. And he said, how do you make sense of anything? I said, well, we've got some skilled professionals, and they're very seasoned at sorting problems out. But I know what you mean. So, I'm going to ask what's out there, what's evolving, and I'm going to get to the point where I need your help. Steve is going to scribe and capture some information. What can we do collaboratively, and how can you help as individuals to help advance what we're doing? I mean, I've always found that involving everybody, so collaborating with the whole team, you know, looking at, sorry, I can hear my own voice now. Get the help of the whole team, involve the client, bring in some solution providers, work with academia. There are solutions out there. Now, the next few examples are ones that I've not put them in any order, but I've brought the first one in, and I mentioned this yesterday during a couple of discussions. This is the biggest thing for me in terms of contributing to productivity drive on site. You know, the outputs from this are nothing short of tremendous. And I can remember back in the day being asked by a plant hirer if I could help him go and convince a site manager that this technology would help. And the site manager sending us out of his office and saying, don't be silly. Can I ask, has anybody come across 3D machine control and used it successfully? Yeah, a couple of hands. Okay. I have to say, nothing short of transformational, what it could do. But I can remember the day we went onto site in the mid-thousands, 2000s, turned up on site, and we were immediately sent out of the office and told not to be silly. This has the potential to really drive productivity. I mean, we just look at the safety aspect of it, which if we get that right, we can keep our safety targets on track. Improve fuel consumption, right first time. As-built report, less wear and tear. Predictability and safety at workface is dramatically improved. As I say, in my humble opinion, this is probably the biggest tech contributor to on-site productivity. We've all got our own thoughts and ideas, but there are figures that back this up as well. I want to say something else here as well. That this isn't a safety talk, but I just want to show how safety can be improved through technology. And 10% of all accidents are moving objects related, and these are HSE figures. I'm not sure whether last year or the year before, but I picked this out to highlight. And here is what I'm talking about. Now that gentleman there in the circle, he's at risk. He's at risk. What can we do about it? Well, 3D machine control. Where the circles are and the lines, that's where the guy used to stand. But he doesn't stand there anymore because we've got 3D machine control. And that, as I said, is transformational. Everybody's doing what they should do. We've even got a drone capturing data. I'll come on to drones in a minute. But yeah, fantastic bit of technology. And it works. It really does work. Information mobility. There's a lot of you in the room, I'm sure. I've talked to quite a few already. We know the benefits of information mobility. Are we using it? Maybe, in part. There's so many benefits there. You know, driving productivity is, well, it's obvious. There's one thing in particular I want to talk about, and the foremen and engineers on a project, quite a lot of them wander around with tablets. And whilst that has been transformational, moving from paper-based forms, one of the complaints I hear quite a lot is, the screen's not big enough, what are we going to do? So the answer is this, field kiosk. Now I took all the things out around the side because I'll just explain that. The foremen, the engineers, the works managers, they can go to this kiosk and they can, well, download information. They can even print stuff out as well. All right, it's frowned on, but there is a printer if they want to. But again, when this was set up, the feedback from the individuals using it was, well, this is fantastic. Why have we not had this before? And all of a sudden, you got enthusiasm about doing more. And the uptake for driving tech forwards was, well, it was there. These are McGraw-Hill stats on the left, and you can see from the subcontractors and the general contractors the benefits. You know, collaboration, productivity, less reliance on drawings, and this thing at the bottom, reduce risk. I want to move into wearables because this is something that's gathering apace. There is a little bit of a video in this. If I can just show you. Oh no, it's not working. Okay, that's what I was on about earlier. I've disabled it. So basically, there's a camera trained on these individuals, and it's looking at their movements. And the data that's captured can look at the number of drops, twists, turns, to see how a person is, I'll say behaving, but you know what their functions are during the day. And it's pumped into a productivity benchmark, and an analysis is made. And there is some correlation between the number of twists and turns and heavy lifts and incidents and accidents. And this was set up by one of the universities, and it actually produced some results that's gone into, well, it's being used. I also want to talk about safety. Accident frequency rate in our industry, we've been doing quite well. And as I say, it's not a safety talk, but I want to draw it back and show how it links in. This is typical of several of the major contractors in the UK and one European. And this has been going down steadily for 20 years. There are some more figures, but I haven't collated them yet. The trend line is still going down. And without wanting to sound complacent, to keep that going down, we have to really think differently and use technology. And to do that, we've got to start looking at behaviours with individuals. And coming back to it, wearables. This next slide is a device that's worn inside the helmet, and it could identify fatigue, stress, drowsiness, burnout, dehydration, illness, intoxication and drug use. Believe me, it still occurs. And even boredom and distraction. So if you've not given them enough challenging tasks to do, it can identify that. So yeah, looking at the vital signs, and we can take steps to, I don't know, alleviate any problems. This other one is another one. The world is getting noisier. What can we do? This is a simple solution that you can look, you can fit using a simple mobile handheld device. You can do a scan of somebody's ear and fit these things into the normal headphones. Amazing. And there's proof about noise. It's the 5th most common health and safety risk. I did say this is not a safety issue, but a safety talk. Wearables. Smartwatches are coming. They are in existence. There's another project that we're involved in at the moment that's starting to look at wearables and what it can actually deliver. The one on the right was a project that COMIT did at the beginning of the COVID lockdown. A number of organisations we work with, we devised a bracelet to try and keep people apart on projects that were still working, but wanted to protect the staff. So we teamed up with one or two of the members. It was a funded project, and it won an award. It was rolled out on a project in North London, and yeah, people got very excited about it. And yeah, there's calls to develop that further. So what is the future for wearables? You might laugh, but there's talk of these smart contact lenses. Has anybody, can I ask the audience, has anybody seen this or heard it, or is it just something you've seen on Google? When I was handed this, and yeah, I was pretty amazed. And tell me more. Well, we can't. It's in development. I'm thinking, okay, potential's there. Okay, we might have seen it in some sci-fi films and movies and whatever, but is this the future? Maybe it is. 4D. Jay mentioned 4D early on. I know that quite a few of the owner-operators are using 4D extensively. It brings visibility to project stakeholders, predicts the reliability of schedule, and supports root cause assessment on plan failure, facilitation of information flow, and it decentralizes this decision making. All in all, it's improving productivity. I've been quite fascinated by the development of 4D and how it fits in with digital twins, and there's more to come on that. The next thing I'm going to mention is drones. I did say I was going to give you a snapshot of some of the technology that's out there that's being used currently. There are quite a lot. I've just picked a handful of things, but one of the other technologies that springs to mind is drones. And COMIT runs its own drone community and has its own separate following. Does a lot of outside events, and is pretty active in the market and has been recognised as a centre of excellence for drone operation and usage. Jay mentioned, coming back to Jay, he mentioned that Shell have been using the iHawk, and the positive feedback I've heard from that organisation is phenomenal. I mean, in terms of improving productivity, That testimonial statement in the middle comes from a major transport asset owner in the UK. And the drone figures around the outside, two of them been used at Sellafield, one for underwater and one internal structures, are delivering some fantastic results. The next thing I want to talk about is the use of AR, VR, and mixed reality. So that's AR, VR, XR. Has anybody been involved in virtual reality training? So in the old way of doing things, we'd turn up on site and we'd sit in an induction and we'd been given a series of slides to look at and understand. And after 2.5 hours of seeing all the slides and everything, you've fully understood it and gone out and everything's great. No, that's not the case, is it? Has anybody seen any VR safety inductions? No. Yes. A few hands over there. How was it? Terrifying. Okay, right. Did you learn a lot? Yeah. Okay, that's the feedback I'm getting. I mean, there's some of the bigger clients who are insisting on doing it this way now, and the upshot is that people are remembering things. You know, that they're not having to go back and be reminded or feature on a safety report because they've done something wrong. People are very enthusiastic about it, and really we need to do more of it. There's one individual organisation who are actually giving them headsets. Some are putting them into a cave where they can actually see things and move around and get it firsthand. But yeah, brilliant. Bring it on. The augmented reality stuff, those are meant to be some service locations. I've got a little bit further on about service locations because that's another area where we really need technology to help us. But you can see all the services are laid out. And again, if that can help avoid one incident where we've got a cable strike, let's have it. We need it because cable strikes on projects, those that deliver projects will know. I mean, for me, it was the number one headache. We could have no materials for a week, but breaking a service was worse, Materials management. We know about RFID. It's been around quite a long time, introduced through the supermarkets. There's an addition to that, LTE-M, and COMIT has a project at the moment which is it's around 5G and LTE-M, and that, I haven't seen the results of it yet, certainly the early trials, but that's got the potential to change the way we manage smaller assets. Now, I'm not saying they'll be down to the size of a house brick, but they're going in that direction, and I can't wait to see the early results. So RFID, these are the typical results. So as it was previously, 36.8 minutes per component, 4.6 once it was established. So pretty good improvement ratio. Is that a surprise to anybody? Go on, tell me. Is it a surprise? No? No. Okay. That's just what tech can do when it's deployed properly. I mentioned about underground assets. We ran a webinar a few weeks ago, which was the second one we'd done. And as I said, it's the number one, for me, it was the number one frustration. It's the number one frustration for a lot of organisations. It costs, and don't quote me on these because I was given these figures, but it costs the UK economy, I don't believe this, I think it's bigger, 2.4 billion every year in accidental underground utility strikes. In the UK, the National Underground Asset Register, NUA, is an initiative of the Geospatial Commission. The return on investment for this is estimated at £30 of benefits for every £1 invested. There is a solution here, and these guys are busy in the background working with industry to try and find a solution. Has anybody used that? I've got to ask this. I bet John's seen this. Has anybody seen the one at the end? It's really, really cheap. It's really cheap to use, and it's very effective. Dividing rods. I was given a set of welding rods on one project and taught how to use them, and I was amazed. But not as effective as the ground penetrating radar. There is a solution here. And maybe it's on this slide. There is no silver bullet as it currently stands, but I was interested to talk to one or two individuals earlier who have been doing some research work. So I'm going to carry that conversation on. But yeah, no silver bullet. So, with all this suggestion, and this is to whet your appetite, are we ready to accept and embrace change? We must provide the foundation for accelerating innovation and adoption. To improve productivity, we have to adapt to new processes and methods of work, and we've got to embrace change. This part revolves around an organisation's readiness for change. Many organisations, whilst they may state they're capable of change, are far from it. They may not have a strategy, they may not have a policy, or even a culture to change. We've heard a lot about culture in the past day or so. There's no agility to do it either, without any buy-in, both above and below. I mentioned early on, when I was trying to bring some innovation into a project, it was show us a use case. So we showed a use case, we showed some potential return on investment, and still it was a no. I had to go away, I had to reform, come back. Third time lucky. Yes, you can have £100 to buy that bit of software or that bit of hardware. And it's only after that we start on the rocky road to proving it works. So any proposed change will almost certainly not have made any preparations for the workers to embrace change. That's another thing, culture. Are we ready with the change for the individuals? Anyway, I won't give any more negatives, but so accept and embrace change. Let's not sleep on the target. Let's collaborate. So, working with industry, working privately, public, government, we all need to collaborate. So that pretty much brings me to the end of my slides. I'm amazed. I'm on time and I'm on budget. What I want to do now is have a discussion. And I think we've got a couple of outlying tables. We'd like to, if we can, bring a couple of people together. Maybe a bit of a merger or a joint venture. Maybe will we produce 3 tables? What I'd like to do is I'd like to ask this question or these questions, and you can take this individually. Can we do 3 tables? Is that possible? We do 3 tables, or are we talking 4? Sorry, Alison, you're working away in the background, aren't you? I value your opinion, so if you can. So if we can, maybe 3 tables, let's see, does that work, or are we talking 4 tables? Because we've got 4 areas here. And Stevie has got, let's have a discussion for 20 minutes or so, and then we can feed back to Steve, and hopefully we've got some positives. So, what have we got? 3? We've got 3 tables. So, who wants to take what does the future hold? Marshall, you on that table? What does the future hold? Do you want to take that one? There you go. Would you be the scribe for that table? Would you be the scribe? Or delegate. You've got Donna next to you. Donna could do. Yeah, is that okay, Donna? Alison? Which one do you want to take? Collaboration. Do you want to take that one? John wants to collaborate. There you go. Thank you, John. Fantastic. And individuals. How can we help as individuals? So where I'm coming from on that is you're an individual in a company. You've got a fantastic idea. You want to share it with everybody. Well, you don't because it's your idea. How do you get the buy-in of your boss and his boss and the boss's boss? How do you get the buy-in? What do you do? I'm sure it's not changed when I was asking the question, but yeah. Is everybody clear on that? Ask me some questions. Say, no, I'm not clear. But are we all right? Yeah. Brilliant. All right, so we get 20 minutes. Is that all right? Is that okay? And then, no, do you want more? Okay. I've got a couple of signs that everybody was there or thereabouts. John wants another week. Put in for an extension of time, John. Is that all right? 1 week. 1 week extension of time. Do you think you'll get it? Okay. Thanks for doing that. We've just got shy of 10 minutes to report in. So who wants to go first? Donna, do you want to go first and give us your take, please?
What's your tail doing, please?
The future.
Future? Excellent. First column on my board. So.
So unlimited possibility.
We've just got about 3 minutes, Donna. Is that all right? Or have you got more than that? Maybe you'll have to hand your homework in. Is that borrowed from other industries or develop our own?
Basically how to take people out of the
Okay.
best practice topics. Collaboration.
Yeah.
Methods to make it attractive to the next generation.
Okay.
Sustainability.
Yeah.
Modular methods. Collaboration.
Yeah.
The need for dissemination of information.
Okay.
Leverage concepts with commonality.
Yeah.
And society issues, for example, where they would rather have people employed rather than technology, especially for developers.
Yeah.
Leasing materials.
Sorry, leasing.
Leasing.
Okay. Yep.
Recycling resources.
Yeah.
And then I'm sticking with gamification.
Oh, sorry, gamification. Yeah. 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 Oh.
Brilliant. That's fairly comprehensive, is that?
Yeah, very, very good list.
Yeah, yeah. Brilliant. Well, thank you for that.
Didn't run out of space then.
Thank you for that. Who wants to go next? John? John, are you doing it? No.
Mark.
Mark. Of course it is. Mark.
Hopefully your collaboration.
Yes.
Awesome.
Brilliant. Thank you. We've got 3 minutes, Mark. Is that all right?
So we have a long list of 2 pages here.
Crikey.
I think we can sum it up in some high levels. So the first thing we wanted to say was a decision-making process. So keep working at coming to an agreement on everything. There's a defined process to do this that Mr. Butler was going to elaborate on.
Can I have those? Do you mind if I take those? Thank you. Brilliant.
So
Thank
the
you.
big part of it was just going to be the decision making and getting everyone
Well, that's brilliant, that. Thank you.
And a big part of this is going to be trusting the technology. So regardless of what it is like the mechanical equipment that is controlled remotely, or if it's going to be a new piece of software, can we trust it? Do we know that it's going to work?
Testing. A lot of testing.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how you build confidence, isn't it?
Yeah.
Prove it in a sort of mock-up environment. Show people this is what
Try before you buy.
you win them over eventually.
Yeah. Brilliant.
So related to that would also be when you try to implement something on a project, not everything's going to be perfect. So you might want to actually choose a project that's going to have difficulties because that's reality.
Yeah.
Okay. So complex project.
Yes. For collaboration, one of the things that we found is that if you have a general consensus and you have 9 out of 10 people agreeing, that one person can really throw things off the rails then. If you have 9 people on a common platform and one person with an Excel spreadsheet, that causes massive confusion. So you really need all stakeholders involved.
Buy-in, yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Is that it? Done?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that. Alison?
Okay, so we were talking about individuals, and actually individuals is quite difficult because you've got to separate out what individuals control and what organizations control. And there's, so I'm going to sort of go through these. There's a big piece about innovation culture, and if you're in a leadership position, there's an ability for you to create that innovation culture.
Thank you.
Empower individuals to be entrepreneurial in their thinking. Openness. So a lot of this is core leadership skills, actually, the skills that you need to drive your innovation. So you need to be openness, open, you need to recognize you don't have all the answers, you need to be honest.
Suggest that the industry isn't very honest. Surely not.
You've got to collaborate, so you need to understand who you need to work with and develop those relationships both externally. So understand, how others are approaching this, what you can learn from others, your peers, other industries, etc. And internally, who can you turn into your sponsors and your advocates. It's almost like a sales pitch. It was
Yeah.
about using the right language and the right hooks within the organisation. There was something about common language, using plain, in this case English, but keep it simple. And failing fast.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Adopting a learner mindset.
Yeah.
So you share lessons learned, but you actually learn from them.
Yeah.
And then,
And there's more.
talk to your perfect.
Try. Sorry.
Just give it.
It's probably easy.
You're right.
Essentially, I've just copied a marketing funnel and just dissected it slightly and made it
Fantastic. Can I have that, Alison? Can I have that? Thank you. Really, it's fine. Of course it does. Thank you.
Sponsor. Sponsor then pilot. So a lot of stuff before we get to pilot. Which one of the points I made was how do we get the pilot in the first place?
Brilliant. Well, I'd like to say thanks for helping us with that. There's some really good areas highlighted. I mean, all of that put together, I think will help us achieve net zero by 2050, don't you think? Yeah? Yeah. Yeah, we've got budget, 9.3 trillion. A year. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for helping. And do you know what? We're on time and we're on budget. How about that? Thanks for helping us. Does anybody want to say anything to finish us off? Any comments from anybody? Any thoughts? John, you've got something to say. I know you have. Look. Go on. Yeah, go on. Do you want the microphone?
I think my question is, going back to your first two slides, how is this going to affect margin? And how will it affect bidding costs?
Right. Well, the bidding is on its head at the moment, as you probably know. They're winning 1 in 1, and it's unprecedented. They haven't got the staff to do the work. So there's going to have to be a radical rethink because the headhunters can only do so much. So I can't really say, I can't answer that. But coming back to margin, if we add productivity, we only send the margin up because we're doing more with less, in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess it's a question of the effort and cost per project of getting the integrated systems together, the
Yep.
integrated technology together.
Yeah.
I think it's like a lot more things that we're talking about. The cost is sort of irrelevant.
Yeah.
It is the value that is added
Yeah.
that is the real consideration.
Yeah.
So you talk about AWP as an entity.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about a component here, basically. Yeah. So I think we're an industry that's driven by cost focus.
Yeah.